The 1986 release of Aliens was a major success. While the original Alien, 1979, launched the franchise, Aliens expanded and cemented its status as a major film series. After the original Alien, 20th Century Fox had little faith in the commercial viability of the series. But following Aliens, the studio's attitude changed completely. Unlike Alien, which had a more complex and uncertain production, Aliens benefited from a larger budget from the start and from James Cameron's strong creative control over the story. The production of Aliens was significantly easier than that of Alien 3, 1992, which is widely regarded as one of the most troubled film productions of the 1990s. The development of Aliens started after Brandywine and 20th Century Fox resolved their dispute in 1983. Around that time, James Cameron quickly wrote the first treatment of the script, still titled Alien 2. Behind this story was an earlier screenplay Cameron had written between 1980 and 1981, titled Mother. Production and script writing for Aliens began in 1985, and the film premiered on July 18, 1986. A longer special edition version of the film was first released in 1991 on Laserdisc. The same version was later re-released in 1999, 2003, and 2010. James Cameron named the extended version the Special Edition, not a director's cut, as is often the case with re-released versions edited by the director. This is because Cameron considered the original, shorter theatrical release to be his complete vision of the film. It was, in his view, the true director's cut. He edited the special edition as a bonus version for the fans. No other official versions of the movie have been released. Compared to the first Alien movie, Aliens is a much more cohesive whole. This is largely because the story and direction came from the same person. As a result, his own movie story transferred to the screen with a high degree of consistency and unity. The situation was different in the first Alien movie. The story was written and created by different individuals than the director. Ridley Scott was hired to interpret the story, not to realize movie story made by him. This makes the backstory of Alien much more layered and complex, and the final film is ultimately Scott's interpretation of story made by someone else. As a result, Aliens doesn't carry nearly as much mystery or ambiguity as the first film, which is filled with hidden layers and unresolved questions. A significant amount of footage was filmed for the movie. There is a 157-minute version of the film that served as the basis for the other edits. The theatrical version is 137 minutes long, and the special edition is 154 minutes long. This means about 3 minutes of footage are cut out. This is very little compared to the first Alien movie, where approximately 60 minutes of story-related material were cut and up to 100 minutes of footage are missing when compared to the film's work print. The Alien Vault channel has released a video series titled Alien Missing Scenes, which goes through scenes from the first film that were shot but never released. It's definitely worth checking out. There has also been discussion among fans about longer versions of the film, such as an early assembly cut or rough cut running approximately 3 hours. However, there is no confirmation that these versions actually exist. This video series explores the Alien story in full, as far as documentation and material is available. The basis for reviewing the story and scenes is the special edition of the film. This version will be compared to the official theatrical cut and to other relevant material. To chart the full story of Aliens, we will also go through various script versions and compare their content to the special edition. The primary comparison is with the final shooting script dated September 23, 1985. This is one of the latest drafts and was used as the basis for most of the filming. Comparison is also made with earlier screenplay drafts of the film from 1985. And In addition, references and comparisons are also made to the 1983 Alien 2 treatment. However, this earlier treatment will not be explored in detail here, since it differs significantly from the 1985 scripts and the final film. A separate video series on Alien Vault channel covers the Alien 2 treatment story from 1983 in full detail. Be sure to check it out. The video does not cover references to Alan Dean Foster's Aliens novelization, but as with Foster's other books, the novel is based on the film's screenplays. Therefore, many scenes that appear in the script but not in the final film also appear in Foster's novel. The goal of this video series is to build a comprehensive showcase of the entire Alien story while also highlighting the material that was left out of the final films. The video series goes through the entire film in detail, scene by scene. It includes plenty of detailed information and background on different versions of the story and their context. This is an extensive and comprehensive package about the film Aliens, a must-see for every Alien fan. Are you ready? Let's begin. 1. The Narcissus Shuttle. The Narcissus Shuttle drifts silently through space. Inside the shuttle, Warrant Officer Ripley, the sole survivor of the Nostromo, sleeps in the hypersleep chamber, along with the cat, Jones. The system comes to life and signals an approaching vessel, which docks with the shuttle. In the airlock, a cutting torch slices through the airlock door. A laser scanner sweeps through the interior. 3 men in bio-isolation suits enter the shuttle. They discover Ripley, realize she is alive, and comment that they have lost the salvage bonus. Differences from other material. The scripts describe how a searchlight sweeps across the top of the shuttle from the outside. This brief moment appears in the 157-minute version, but it was cut from all released versions of the film. In earlier scripts, the leader of the men describes out loud what he sees inside the shuttle. 2. Nightmare. A space station orbits a planet, visible through the hospital room window. A medical technician checks on Ripley, who says she feels unwell. Ripley asks where she is, and the technician answers. A man enters the room carrying the cat Jones. Ripley is delighted. The man introduces himself as Carter Burke, an employee of the company. As Burke explains the situation, Ripley becomes nauseous. Jones hisses and hides under the furniture, growling from the shadows. Medical staff rush in as Ripley begs to be killed. Suddenly, the skin on her abdomen begins to stretch, revealing that a chest burster is about to emerge. Ripley wakes from the nightmare in a dark hospital room. The technician appears on a monitor and asks if she wants something to help her sleep. Ripley declines, saying she's slept enough. She picks up Jones, who begins to purr in her arms. Differences from other material. In the scripts, this scene is slightly longer and depicts Ripley as more suspicious of Burke. She vents her anger at him over the Nostromo incident. Burke tries to calm her down. Ripley watches as a figure rises from beneath the sheets, tearing its way out of her. In the first draft version, the chest burster emerges in a bloody scene similar to the first Alien film. In earlier script versions, Ripley tells the cat, "We made it, Jones. We made it. But at what price?" In the 1983 Alien 2 treatment, Ripley's nightmare cuts directly from the scene of her sleeping in the hypersleep chamber aboard the Narcissus. In the dream, she runs through the corridors of the Nostromo and eventually encounters the alien. This version contains no hospital chestburster scene or Burke's introduction. 3. Amanda Ripley-McClaren. Ripley sits in the hospital atrium, watching a large screen displaying a nature scene. Burke arrives. Ripley inquires about her daughter, but Burke is more concerned about her upcoming hearing. Burke says he found information about Ripley's daughter. Amanda Ripley-McClaren, who was 66 at the time of her death, died 2 years ago and had no children. Ripley breaks down upon seeing a photo of her daughter. Differences from other material. The scene was filmed but cut from the theatrical version. It is included in the special edition. In the 157-minute version, the scene is slightly longer. At the end, Ripley breaks down crying over her daughter and says how she had promised to be home for her daughter's 11th birthday. Burke says to Ripley, "Some promises you just can't keep." After that, he checks his watch, eager to get Ripley to the hearing. In the script, the scene is a bit longer. Jones the cat is also in the atrium, stalking and chasing a bird. The bird only appears on the large screen, so Jones eventually runs into the wall-sized display. Ripley comments to the cat, "That's brilliant, Jones." In earlier script versions, she instead mutters, "Dumb shit." In the script, Burke also mentions that Amanda died of cancer. In the 1983 Alien 2 treatment, there is no atrium scene and no Burke character. Instead, a Dr. O'Neill tells Ripley about her daughter. The daughter is not dead, and Ripley contacts her via video call. The call does not go well. Her daughter is angry with Ripley because she had left her due to space missions. 4. The hearing. Ripley is in a conference room, questioned by a panel about the events aboard the Nostromo. Van Leeuwen leads the hearing, while Burke is also present. For 3.5 hours, Ripley's case has been under review. She repeats her story, but the panel finds no evidence to support her claims. They press her for a reason why the expensive Nostromo was destroyed. Ripley grows agitated and warns them about the danger posed by the hostile creature if it were to get loose. Van Leeuwen revokes Ripley's flight license and assigns her to 6 months of psychological evaluation. The case is closed. Before Van Leeuwen leaves the room, Ripley stops him and asks him to check on the situation on the planetoid LV-426. Van Leeuwen responds that such an inspection isn't necessary. Terraformers have been on the planetoid for 20 years and haven't reported any signs of a hostile organism. Ripley is shocked and asks how many people are on the planetoid. Van Leeuwen replies 60, maybe 70 families. Differences from other material. In the theatrical version, Van Leeuwen's decision to revoke Ripley's license and assign her to psychological evaluation is not shown. In the scripts, the hearing is clearly longer. The scene begins with Ripley and Burke walking briskly down a corridor toward the hearing. Burke tells Ripley that the panel consists of influential people and advises her to just tell the story calmly without getting emotional. In the scripts, Burke does not sit on the panel. In one early draft, Van Leeuwen specifically addresses Ripley's mention of Special Order 937 in her testimony. He says the matter will be investigated, but clearly states he doesn't believe such an order existed. In the script, Ripley have to wait outside the conference room while the panel deliberates. Before she leaves, she stares intensely at a picture of Dallas. She then exits into the hallway to wait with Burke. Ripley is visibly upset, concluding that the panel had already made up their minds before the hearing even began. Burke grabs coffee and a donut from a vending machine and tries to calm her down by offering the donut. Ripley is called back in to hear the panel's decision. She storms out of the room afterward and catches up with Van Leeuwen just as he is about to enter an elevator. She questions him about LV-426 and hears about the terraforming families. When Ripley blocks the elevator doors, the other passengers inside become visibly agitated. In the 1983 Alien 2 treatment, the company is not called Weyland-Yutani, but Weyland-Yutani. Dropping the D, this is also how the company is named in the first Alien film. Additionally, during the hearing it is revealed that the company now has a new owner. Since Burke does not exist in the 1983 version, his role is filled by Dr. O'Neill, who tries to help Ripley with the situation and even offers to find her an apartment.
Planet engineers, they go in and set up these big atmosphere processes to make the air breathable. Takes decades. It's what we call a shake and bake colony.
How many are there? How many colonists?
I don't know, 60, maybe 70 families. Do you mind?
Families. Jesus.